Let them go. There comes a time in every person's life when they must come to the realization that some things, some relationships, and some situations are no longer meant to be part of their journey. It is a difficult truth to face, yet it is an essential one for personal growth and emotional well-being. Recognizing when it's time to let go is an act of self-awareness that many people struggle with. We often find ourselves holding on to things and people because of fear, nostalgia, or a belief that it is our duty to keep them in our lives. However, understanding when it is time to release something or someone can be one of the most liberating decisions you ever make. The pain that accompanies this realization is temporary, but the freedom and growth that follow are lasting. It's important to know that letting go doesn't signify weakness or failure. It's a courageous act of self-preservation and emotional intelligence. When you recognize that it's time to let go, you start to feel the weight of the situation, person, or relationship that is holding you back. Whether it's a toxic friendship, a strained relationship, or a job that no longer aligns with your passions, holding on can create a sense of suffocation. This weight can manifest itself in various ways. Stress, anxiety, and even physical health issues can arise from the constant mental energy spent on maintaining something that isn't fulfilling or healthy for you. There are often warning signs that we choose to ignore because we are either too afraid to face the truth or too attached to the comfort of what is familiar. It's common for people to stay in situations where they know they are not valued or respected simply because they fear the change or the uncertainty of letting go. But if you stop and listen to yourself, you will begin to hear your inner voice telling you that it's time to let go. You'll feel the subtle or not so subtle nudges, signs, and even the growing discomfort that comes with staying where you are. The longer you ignore these signs, the more energy it takes to keep pretending everything is fine, and the harder it becomes to break free. The act of recognizing when it's time to let go requires a deep level of honesty with yourself. It means acknowledging that some people and situations are not in alignment with your values, your goals, or your vision for the future. When you are caught in a situation where you're holding on to someone or something out of fear of change or an unwillingness to face the unknown, you're not doing yourself any favors. Letting go doesn't mean you're abandoning your responsibility or that you're walking away from something that could potentially improve with time. It means that you are finally acknowledging the fact that the situation has run its course and that it is no longer benefiting you in the ways it once did. Often, the hardest part is realizing that you deserve more. It's difficult to let go of people or situations that have been a part of your life for a long time, and that's understandable. We form attachments, and these attachments make it hard to envision life without them. However, one of the most liberating things you can do is to admit to yourself that you are worthy of something better, something that brings you peace, joy, and growth. By holding on to what no longer serves you, you are denying yourself the opportunity to experience the life and the relationships that are meant for you. Letting go opens the door for new experiences, new people, and new opportunities to enter your life. Recognizing when it's time to let go also involves a process of self-reflection. It requires you to examine the situation from an honest perspective and ask yourself, is this situation helping me grow? Is this relationship bringing me peace and fulfillment? Am I becoming a better version of myself because of this person or this experience? If the answer is no, then it's time to ask yourself why you are still holding on. What fears or insecurities are keeping you attached to something that is no longer helping you? The process of self-reflection helps you identify the root causes of your attachment, whether it's fear of loneliness, fear of failure, or fear of being judged. Once you uncover these underlying emotions, you can begin to heal and move forward with confidence. Another key aspect of recognizing when it's time to let go is accepting the reality that not everyone or everything is meant to be a permanent part of your life. People come and go, seasons change, and circumstances shift. Nothing in life is static, and you must learn to flow with those changes. Clinging to something or someone that is no longer meant for you is like trying to hold on to the past. The past is over, and no matter how much you wish for it to be different, you cannot turn back time. However, by letting go of the past, you make space for new beginnings. When you stop holding on to what isn't meant for you, you create room for new relationships, new opportunities, and new experiences to come into your life. Letting go can be one of the most transformative decisions you make, but it requires strength and self-love. It requires the courage to release the familiar and step into the unknown, trusting that what's ahead is better than what's behind. And while it may be painful in the moment, it is a necessary step for your own growth and healing. When you recognize when it's time to let go, you are taking control of your life, your happiness, and your future. You are choosing to honor yourself and your well being over the comfort of holding on to something that is no longer serving you. The freedom that comes with letting go is profound, and it is a key step in living a life that is true to who you are and what you deserve. Letting go is one of the most powerful steps you can take on your journey of personal growth. It's not always easy, and it's certainly not comfortable, but it is necessary if you want to evolve into the person you're meant to be. Letting go is about creating space in your life for the things that truly matter. It's about recognizing that certain relationships, situations, and patterns are holding you back and preventing you from stepping into your fullest potential. When you make the conscious decision to let go of what no longer serves you, you're not just releasing something or someone, you're making room for growth. Growth cannot happen in a stagnant, overcrowded space. If you continue to hold on to the things and people that are weighing you down, you'll never have the energy, time, or clarity needed to embrace the future that is waiting for you. One of the hardest things to do in life is to release something that we've grown attached to. Whether it's a relationship, a job, a habit, or even a belief system, we often cling to what we know because it's comfortable, familiar, or safe. The fear of uncertainty makes it difficult to let go. But staying in a situation where you're no longer growing is like trying to grow a plant in soil that doesn't provide the nutrients it needs to flourish. At some point, you will stop growing, and instead of thriving, you'll begin to wilt. The moment you decide to let go, you are sending a powerful message to yourself that your growth matters more than your comfort zone. This doesn't mean that you should walk away from everything that's challenging or difficult. It means that you need to be discerning about what is truly nurturing your growth and what is stunting it. Growth requires change, and change often comes with a degree of discomfort. However, the discomfort of change is always temporary, whereas the stagnation that comes from holding on to the wrong people or situations can last for much longer and have a far more lasting impact on your happiness and success. Letting go allows you to step out of your comfort zone, push through that temporary discomfort, and begin to evolve into a better version of yourself. The process of growth often requires a recalibration of your values and priorities. When you hold on to relationships or situations that no longer align with who you are or where you're headed, you are essentially denying yourself the opportunity to expand and develop. Growth involves change, and change demands that we move beyond the old, familiar patterns and habits that no longer support our true potential. When you let go, you give yourself permission to evolve. You free yourself from the limitations of the past and open yourself up to new possibilities. You begin to see things from a fresh perspective, and you realize that the future you've been longing for has always been waiting for you. But to step into that future, you must first release the past, and this is where the power of letting go comes into play. Letting go is not about rejection or failure, it's about making a conscious choice to prioritize your growth over everything else. It's about recognizing that holding on to what is no longer working for you will only keep you stuck. This understanding is what allows you to create the conditions for growth in your life. Sometimes the hardest part of letting go is realizing that it's okay to move on. We often feel a sense of guilt or obligation when it comes to leaving behind people, habits, or situations that have been a part of our lives for a long time. We fear that by letting go, we're somehow abandoning our responsibilities or betraying the people we care about. But the truth is that you can't help anyone or anything if you're not growing yourself. To truly show up for others, you need to show up for yourself first. And this often means putting your own well-being, happiness, and growth above all else. The guilt you feel about letting go is just a temporary emotion. But the clarity and freedom you gain from making space for new opportunities are lifelong gifts. Letting go is also about trusting the process. It requires faith that what's meant for you will find its way to you. It may be difficult to let go of what you've known, but if you trust that there is something better waiting for you, it becomes easier to release what no longer serves you. Trusting the process means that you believe that the universe or whatever you hold as sacred is guiding you toward what is right for you. This is a powerful act of faith. It's an acknowledgement that even if you can't see the full picture right now, you trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Growth is about stepping into your highest potential, and this can't happen unless you let go of everything that is keeping you small. Sometimes we hold on to people who no longer align with our journey because we fear being alone or abandoned. But in truth, it's through letting go of these relationships that we often find our true selves. You have to release what no longer fits your life in order to invite in what truly belongs. The more you release, the more you'll realize that life has a way of bringing you exactly what you need at the right time. You may not always understand why things happen the way they do, but by letting go, you create the space necessary for something more aligned with your purpose to come into your life. Growth is not a destination, but a continuous process. By letting go of what's holding you back, you're not only freeing yourself, but you're also creating the foundation for even greater growth in the future. This process doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual unfolding of your potential piece by piece as you allow yourself to step into the next phase of your life. The discomfort you feel now is nothing compared to the freedom, the opportunities, and the fulfillment that will come as a result of letting go. Growth is worth the risk of discomfort, and by choosing to release what no longer serves you, you are taking the most important step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Releasing the burden of unnecessary attachments is one of the most powerful acts of self-liberation you can perform. It's something that many people struggle with, but it is an essential step toward achieving emotional well-being, clarity, and peace of mind. When we hold on to things or people that no longer serve us, it's like carrying an invisible weight that keeps us from moving forward in life. These attachments, whether they are to people, possessions, or even past experiences, can weigh us down mentally, emotionally, and physically. They prevent us from embracing new opportunities, forging healthier relationships, and living a life of fulfillment. Letting go of these attachments, on the other hand, allows us to release the heavy burden we've been carrying and create space for new, more positive experiences to enter our lives. Often we don't even realize that we are holding on to things that are no longer beneficial to us. It can be difficult to recognize when we've outgrown certain relationships, circumstances, or possessions because we're so used to having them around. But just because something or someone has been in our lives for a long time doesn't mean it's still contributing to our growth. The attachments we form are often born out of comfort, habit, or fear. We hold on to what is familiar, even if it no longer serves us, because it feels safer than venturing into the unknown. The fear of change or the discomfort of stepping out of our comfort zones can make us resistant to letting go. But the truth is that hanging on to things that no longer align with who we are can only keep us stuck. If we don't actively choose to release these attachments, we remain trapped in a cycle of stagnation and missed potential. One of the most significant ways in which we hold on to unnecessary attachments is in our relationships. We often feel obligated to stay connected to people because of the time we've invested, or because we fear the consequences of severing ties. These attachments can be especially strong in toxic or unfulfilling relationships where we feel guilt, loyalty, or fear of abandonment. We may cling to people who don't respect our boundaries, who drain our energy, or who contribute nothing positive to our lives simply because we don't want to be alone or because we feel responsible for their happiness. But staying in these kinds of relationships is a form of self-sabotage. It's an attachment that only holds us back from experiencing the joy and fulfillment we deserve. Letting go of these types of relationships isn't easy, but it is necessary for personal growth. When you choose to release toxic or one-sided relationships, you create the space needed for healthier, more nurturing connections to enter your life. You allow yourself the freedom to connect with people who align with your values, who support your growth, and who contribute positively to your well-being. These new relationships can help you become a better version of yourself, providing the encouragement, love, and support you need to thrive. It's also important to acknowledge that letting go of attachments isn't just about people, it's also about the material things and the past experiences that we hold on to. Many of us form emotional attachments to possessions, whether it's a piece of clothing, a car, or a home. While it's natural to become attached to things that hold sentimental value, holding on to these items out of fear of letting go can be just as limiting. Possessions can sometimes carry emotional weight, reminding us of past experiences, people, or phases of our lives that no longer serve us. These objects can anchor us to a time or place that is no longer relevant, preventing us from fully embracing the present moment. Letting go of material things that no longer align with our current needs and desires allows us to release emotional baggage and make room for new experiences. It's about recognizing that our worth is not tied to the things we own, but rather to who we are as individuals and the experiences we create for ourselves. The same principle applies to letting go of past experiences or failures. It's common for people to hold on to regrets, mistakes, or disappointments from the past. These emotional attachments can prevent us from moving forward as we allow our past to define our present. We may dwell on what went wrong, what we could have done differently, or what we lost, and in doing so, we remain tethered to that negative energy. The past can be a powerful force, but it's important to remember that it doesn't define who we are or what we can accomplish in the future. Letting go of past hurts and mistakes is a crucial step in reclaiming our power. It means forgiving ourselves for what we can't change and embracing the lessons learned. It means accepting that the past is gone and that we have the power to create a new future for ourselves, free from the burden of old attachments. One of the most liberating aspects of releasing unnecessary attachments is the sense of freedom and lightness that comes with it. When you finally let go of the things that have been holding you back, you feel a weight lift off your shoulders. This newfound freedom allows you to step into your life with renewed energy and clarity. You begin to see things more clearly and you are able to focus on what truly matters to you. You make room for new opportunities, new experiences, and new people to enter your life, all of which contribute to your growth and happiness. It's important to understand that letting go is not a one-time event, but rather a continual practice. Life is constantly changing, and as we evolve, so do our attachments. There will be moments when we need to release old beliefs, habits, or relationships in order to grow and move forward. The process of letting go requires mindfulness and self-awareness. It involves being honest with ourselves about what we need, what serves us, and what no longer aligns with our journey. By consistently releasing unnecessary attachments, we make room for the things that truly support our growth, happiness, and well-being. Releasing unnecessary attachments is an act of self-love and self-respect. It allows us to honor our own needs, desires, and potential. By letting go, we create space for the things that truly matter to us, and in doing so, we give ourselves the freedom to live our best lives. The more we let go of what no longer serves us, the more we open ourselves to the fullness of life with all of its new opportunities, experiences, and relationships. Letting go is not just about releasing the past, it's about creating the future we deserve. The journey of letting go requires immense courage and a deep understanding that change is often necessary for growth and progress. One of the hardest aspects of this process is recognizing that attachment to certain people, places, situations, or even ideas can keep us stagnant and prevent us from realizing our full potential. The fear of uncertainty, coupled with the emotional connection we feel to what we hold on to, often creates a barrier to our freedom. However, it's important to understand that letting go isn't an act of weakness or failure, but rather one of empowerment. It's about realizing that holding on to something or someone that no longer serves us will only keep us from becoming the person we are meant to be. We often hold on to the familiar because it feels safer, even if it no longer aligns with our growth. The idea of letting go might feel unsettling as it requires stepping into the unknown, which can trigger feelings of anxiety and fear. The comfort of staying in a situation, even one that no longer nurtures us, feels more secure than the fear of what might come next. This fear of the unknown can lead to resistance, keeping us stuck in relationships, jobs, or habits that drain our energy and limit our potential. The paradox here is that while we fear the discomfort of change, it is only through change that we can evolve and experience true fulfillment. Letting go of what no longer serves us requires us to acknowledge that what we have been holding on to is simply no longer a reflection of who we are or who we are becoming. Often we hold on to the past because we fear losing a part of ourselves, our identity, or the sense of security that the past provides. However, it's essential to recognize that the past, no matter how familiar or cherished, can't carry us into the future. Clinging to it only keeps us bound to a time that no longer exists. When we let go of the past, we make room for the present and future, which offer endless possibilities for growth, joy, and new experiences. In many cases, we cling to toxic relationships, not because they benefit us, but because we've become accustomed to the dynamics that have formed over time. These relationships may have begun with love or mutual respect, but over time they have become unhealthy and one-sided. We may hold on to these relationships out of a sense of loyalty, fear of loneliness, or the belief that we can fix the person or situation. However, these attachments only serve to drain our energy and limit our emotional growth. In these situations, letting go is not an act of abandonment, rather, it is an act of self-preservation and self-love. By releasing these toxic bonds, we open ourselves to relationships that are based on mutual respect, trust, and growth. Letting go also requires us to examine our own patterns and behaviors. We may have attachments to habits or mindsets that are keeping us from achieving our potential. For example, we might cling to self-limiting beliefs or fear of failure, which can keep us from pursuing our dreams or trying new things. These mental attachments can be just as heavy as physical ones, and they often shape the way we see ourselves and our abilities. When we hold on to these limiting beliefs, we create a cycle of self-doubt and hesitation, which prevents us from stepping into our true power. Letting go of these negative thought patterns requires us to acknowledge them and actively choose to release them. It requires a commitment to shifting our mindset from one of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and possibility. Another crucial aspect of letting go is understanding that doing so doesn't mean we are giving up on something important or valuable. Instead, it means we are choosing to prioritize our well-being and growth. Often we hold on to certain situations or relationships because we believe they define us or are essential for our happiness. However, the reality is that we are the architects of our own happiness, and we have the power to create lives that are fulfilling and aligned with our true selves. Letting go is a powerful affirmation of this truth. It allows us to reclaim our agency and take charge of our own happiness and future. The act of letting go also involves trust. Trust that the universe has a plan for us, and that by releasing what no longer serves us, we make space for something better. Trust that the relationships, opportunities, and experiences we need will come into our lives at the right time. Trust that when we make room for the new, we are not losing something valuable, but instead opening ourselves up to greater possibilities. This trust is an act of faith in both ourselves and the process of life. In many ways, letting go is an ongoing practice. It's not something that happens once and is done with. As we grow and evolve, we continuously encounter new situations, people, and circumstances that challenge us to release what no longer serves us. It could be letting go of a belief that once helped us but now limits us, or releasing a relationship that no longer brings us peace. This process requires mindfulness and awareness. It means consistently checking in with ourselves to assess what is helping us grow and what is holding us back.